When you are no longer constrained by software development best practices, new axioms for delivering software emerges automatically because you are capable of seeing problems differently. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how I would create an AI chatbot that sends emails. It is going to send the email if the user asks the AI chatbot to speak to a human being, or if the user shows frustration, or if the AI chatbot is given a question it cannot answer for some reasons. This has a lot of benefits, for instance, in customer service, where you can transition customer service AI chatbot session to a human being through email whenever required. It allows you to automatically transition to a human being if the user it is chatting with shows frustration, etc., etc. So anyways, let's get started. Here I am inside of one of my cloudlets. I'm going to go to create. I'm going to go to chatbot wizard, and then I'm going to write www.hubspot.com. So the idea being that, so let's imagine HubSpot becomes our client, and they want to have an AI chatbot embedded on their website that sends emails and escalates to human support when required. So now we have an AI chatbot, and we can already click the demo button here, which opens up the demo chatbot in a new window. And already at this point, the AI chatbot will use its RAG data to answer questions the user comes up with and provide follow-up questions, etc. So now remember the original task. We wanted this AI chatbot to send emails. So what we first want to do now is to close this guy. And then we want to go to manage, and then we want to go to plugins and make sure we have the OpenAI plugin installed. I've already installed it, but it doesn't matter. I can also reinstall it. Now when we have that thing, we want to go to manage machine learning. We want to find training data here. We want to click the type that was automatically created by the web chatbot wizard, which is this HubSpot guy. And then we want to add a function, right? However, before we do that, we need to create our own custom AI function. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to close this window, go to HyperID, expand modules, and then I can create a new folder, and I can name it bar, for instance, just to have a name. Then inside a bar, I can create another folder, call it workflows. And then inside of this folder, I want to create a hyperlambda file. And I want this hyperlambda file to be named send me an email.hl. Then I want to provide a description. Sends an email to the owner of the website. This this function sends an email to the owner of the cloudlet, and it can escalate to a human being if the user explicitly asks to speak to a human being, or the user shows frustration, or the AI chatbot cannot, or you cannot answer the user's question. Then I want the arguments to be from, string, to, from email, string. Then I want to add body, string, Okay. And actually, let's slightly modify the comment here and write down, unless the user explicitly tells you what body to use for the email, then create a summary of the conversation and use as your body argument. So now we have a workflow that takes from email and body. Now what we want to do, we want to filter on email here, which gives us inside of our toolbox, hopefully the send email action or activity or whatever you want to call it. Now we want to send the email to team@iniro.io. This would be the recipient of the email, right? Then we want to not send it from, because we cannot change the from because we're using SendGrid, but we want to change the reply to. And we want to use, as a reply to, we want to use from, and reply to email, we want to use from email. And then subject can be support request from AI chatbot. And then we want the body to be the body input argument. So now we just want to return result success. And notice I didn't code any of this. Everything was based on low code and software development automation. However, we now have a function. And let's make sure we name it correctly, send an email. What we want to do, we want to associate this function with our HubSpot type. So the way we would do that, we would click typically, for instance, here, or if we make this guy .type public and we save it again, we can go back to the machine learning tab here, choose training data, filter on our HubSpot type, and actually click add function. At which point now you will see that we will actually find the send me an email AI function here, because it's automatically associated with an AI function since it's inside of a folder named workflows and it is of type public. And all we got to do is click this guy, click save, click close on this thing, click types here now, and vectorize the HubSpot type, which now has one training snippet that is no longer vectorized. Then we can go back to our demo here now and we can tell it, I want to send the owner an email. Now what it is going to do, it's going to look up RAG data, which results in that it will find my send email RAG data training snippet, which you can see by filtering on the type and adding VSS here and pasting the question into here. And this again provides an instruction to the AI chatbot about how to send an email. So now it asks me for the details, such as my name, my email address, and the message. My name is Thomas and my email address is thomas@iniro.io. Now I can provide a subject, but if I don't, then the AI chatbot is going to create a summary of the conversation we've had. It actually didn't do that automatically, so that's just a matter of prompt engineering, but I can explicitly tell it to do. And at this point, the rest is basically just prompt engineering to modify the prompt such that it functions correctly at whatever points you want it to function. Because now the AI chatbot actually sent an email. If I was using traditional software development best practices, I'm not even sure if what I just did would be possible to even do. For instance, the code I was writing declaratively that way, it didn't require me to write at all. I just clicked the toolbox items, which automatically allowed me to parameterize actions that became atomic building blocks inside of workflows, Hyperlambda workflows. This allowed me to create that functionality completely without coding, even though the system automatically generated code for me. Right. Now, since the system automatically generates code, putting that code into Git would make it significantly more complex to actually create that code. It could be done, but it would provide little benefit, and it would make the construction of that code far more complex, etc., etc., etc. You see, what I just did now, when I created that send email AI function, is impossible to even imagine for most traditional software developers, because they are constrained by their processes and axioms, such as OOP and Scrum, and etc., etc.